So now I'm back with my regular instrument. This is the piston valve instrument with the valves that go up and down. And the care and maintenance of an instrument like this is a little bit different. More of this is things that you'll actually be able to do if this is the type of instrument that you have. Now again, I'll turn it on its side. It's a little bit easier to see there. Here you can see that the valves actually do just move straight up and down. And there's only one moving part here, the valve itself. The rotary valves, you got lots of moving parts. Here it's just one moving part, which is the valve. These actually are going to take a little bit more maintenance. You don't have to be quite as careful, although still we don't want to put the instrument down like this. That'll bend those valve stems. If these valve stems get bent, valves will stick. Basically, the instrument is unusable at that point. So when you're setting the instrument down flat, we always want to do it with the valves up. That's also the easiest way to oil them. Now, if we're going to oil a piston valve, it's just this piston itself that needs it. So you unscrew the cap, and it should just pop up like that. Now, you want to be careful that you have the instrument turned upright like this, because there's a spring in there, and that spring can fall out. And if the spring falls out, it's going to roll somewhere, probably really far away and underneath something where you won't be able to get to it. Once again, instrument is unplayable without that spring in there. So you don't even have to pull the valve all the way out to oil it. Valve oil. Now you don't want to use any just oil you have sitting around. You know, Dad may have a can of WD-40 out in the garage or something. That's not appropriate for oiling an instrument. You have to be very careful to use the correct kind of valve oil. And in fact, you may want to ask your director, if you're playing an instrument, they may have valve oil that they're already using with the instrument. Sometimes if you mix two different brands, it'll actually make the valves kind of sticky. Now it doesn't take much. This stuff stains, it smells bad, and it makes a big mess. It just takes a few drops on each valve. Putting too much valve oil on will actually make the valves stick. So don't think every time your valves are sticking that they just need more oil. We're just going to put a couple drops right around here. And then I like to always just give it a little spin. Now, you have to be very careful. If I lift up this valve cap, there's actually a little groove that we have to find, because there's a little piece of plastic or metal that has to fit into that groove. It's very important that the valve goes back in correctly. If the valve doesn't go in easily, you're trying to put it in the wrong way. Don't force it. If you're having trouble, get someone to help you. Get a band director or a parent or someone to help you. And then it helps to hold the valve down part way as you sort of put the valve cap back on. Now, oiling your valves is not something that you need to do unless you have a brand new instrument, maybe once a week for a brand new instrument. Less than that if you have an instrument that's been used for a while. The valves kind of break in and don't require as much maintenance and as much oil as you're going. If you are uncomfortable with doing this, if you don't want to make the mess and things, get someone to help you until you feel very, very comfortable doing it on your own. So things to remember with the piston valves: it plays just the same. Again, there's no difference even though they look different. We always set the instrument down with the valves up, being very careful not to bend any of these valves. And we oil them maybe once a week, maybe a little bit less, and just a little bit of oil. And if you're not comfortable with it, get some help.